welcome to the fourth episode of the Nurse Patient Forum podcast. We are here again with Mike. I'll have him introduce himself in a second. But today we're going to be diving into a truly disturbing case that highlights the dangers of social media and the toxic influence, like we always talk about, parasocial dynamics of certain online personalities. That being said, we're talking about Alpha Dom, also goes by the name of Connor. That's his regular name. I'm not sure where he came up with that title, but he seems to be trying to create what we call on social media rage bait. So rage bait is content that is meant to cause a negative reaction from the viewers, usually controversial topic. But typically when creators make this content, it isn't about like real people in real life situations. So we're going to talk about all that. But I'm going to have Mike go ahead and introduce himself.
Hi again, it's Mike. I'm an MSW, and it is a pretty wild story, Allie. I mean, this guy Alpha Dom, he's been making a lot of waves on social media, and
Not good
he's
one.
got all these kinds of outlandish claims, like he's got 7 PIs on you. I'm accessing patient records as a disabled person who has no job, so.
So we're going to
Who
break down every accusation that he's made.
wanted to go through is like he says he has 7 girlfriends, he's
Yeah.
got 44 businesses,
Yes.
um, and his supposed wealth and power. I mean, why would a group of women, let's start, choose a man who says you don't have to accept her rejection?
They wouldn't.
You,
They wouldn't.
you know, I mean, allegedly hires escorts all the time who
Yes.
look incredibly uncomfortable when they're acting out these actions. And what do you call it? Are these women that are part of this pain community okay with a kind of guy like that who doesn't respect the word consent? Because I
So
don't understand that.
exactly. That's a very valid question. So I think that a lot of people may not understand like the actual dynamic here because so you have this character Alpha Dom, right? And his thing is you don't have to accept a woman's rejection. I have 7 girlfriends. I'm this, multimillionaire. Obviously none of that is true. We've looked into this person in great depth and all of that has been invalidated. But I think it's more than just like an ego issue. It becomes a mental health issue. Like I said, only woman that we've confirmed this as well, engaged with a relationship at the age she was 17, he was 27, and he has remained in contact with her through her entire, young adulthood. So we typically call that grooming. So that's kind of the situation there. I actually have a video that I'm going to pull up that he's trying to claim like, I don't know, I guess he didn't spend Thanksgiving alone or something. And then he has this girl chime in, but it's not anyway. So for people who aren't aware, that's Alpha Dom, the character. And then I had a run in with him because I had this conflict over a TikTok post that I made. No words said. It was 11 seconds long, literally not worth the reaction that it garnered. But apparently he claims that he's protecting the community that I attacked with said TikTok. So this TikTok was not about pain medicine. It was about a made up scenario where we deal with combative patients in the ER and we have to medicate them. Very common. People come in intoxicated on methamphetamines, on a variety of substances. And unfortunately, we don't want to get assaulted. So we will get orders to have that patient medicated.
And we
So,
have to basically bring awareness to what he says, which
I
we'll
mean,
do
that's
after
the
the
big thing
video.
is he's taking it
Mm.
real life. I can go back and forth with you online all day, but then Mike had mentioned says he's got a PI watching me and the FBI is watching me. It just if you think about it logically for a second, why would you tell someone that you had a PI watching them? First of all, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. And second of all, why would you think that anybody would believe that you had access to FBI documents or investigations on your computer? Because he had that live stream that I'll bring up some of the videos about that is like typing on his computer, trying to like say that just things about me that weren't even valid. Like if you're going to pretend you have a PI and someone, I think you should probably get your research correct.
And also, no PI is going to take a job that is literally
That's
just
harassment.
stalking someone.
Yeah. A
It's
PI
not going
is
to
for
happen.
like a court case or, an employer that wants to look into maybe somebody that's working for them that's stealing from them or like something like that, right?
Or
So
someone who's missing, something like that,
something
too.
valid. Yeah. So he claims
Hmm.
that one of the 7 girlfriends is a doctor and that at first she didn't really see a problem, but now she's determined to make sure that I never work again. So this strange man is taking it upon himself to make sure that me, a medical professional, a nurse, doesn't work. Obviously, that's not going to happen. That's where you get legal involved, where, like I said in previous episodes, we do have a restraining order against one person or myself and my daughter because her behavior was leaking into my real life life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
calling jobs, like these are all the same group of people.
Well,
Uh,
perhaps this is the time to bring up what he said about
yeah.
the other person
So
and
I
their
want
child.
to show a video just so people can get an idea of what he's like. So let me.
Okay, let's do that first then.
Say what you will. I didn't have to do that. Right, girl? Right.
So do you believe that was a real person? Do you hear that? That's like AI. Listen.
Right, girl? Right. Now here's
Or
the
a
thing.
child.
So that being said, that's a little kind of what he's like. But let me bring up
Hmm.
another video where he does a little more talking.
Trying really hard and you're still losing. You've made a couple videos and we want to help you out. We tried to help you out with the tips and you're still doing god awful at it, quite frankly. Here's the thing. Gonna tell you. A lot of tips here. I gave you tips before and you still fucking fucked it up somehow. It's so hard teaching a fucking making videos. I have to be careful because now a federal investigation, not so much her, but two of her.
I love how now it's not me anymore. First they were investigating me, and now it's Michael and Keisha apparently. So we'll see.
Yeah, me. This
fucking
is
little
good about me.
associates are going to be prison for the like a long time.
We're going to be prison for like a long time. He can't
Hmm.
even get the words out because he's being so dishonest that they're like coming out inappropriately. We're
And now
going.
listen to this part, please.
One of them was using medical records in order to fucking track people down for Allison because
So let's be clear. Mike does not have access to medical records. He is not in a medical setting. He is medically retired essentially because he's disabled, so he doesn't work anymore. So this is a false accusation.
Hmm.
he's a little simp, a little simpy boy that can't get women or a fucking transplant for.
This is the part that I'm going to give you guys a trigger warning for because it's highly inappropriate. So let's be aware.
One of them was using medical records in order to fucking track people down for Allison because he's a little simp, a little simpy boy that can't get women or a fucking transplant for his garbage fucking organs, quite frankly. But the officer.
So this is the man that claims to be coming to the rescue of the disabled community because I attacked them with a TikTok. And now he's saying that a real disabled person has trash organs. A man that is on the liver transplant list. This is his description of him. So, I mean, that says
Really
everything.
nice.
Yeah. So do you
Really
feel like
nice.
he's genuinely defending the disabled community with an attitude like that?
Well, you know what? Let's break down his character.
Yeah.
Let's start with that, okay? I mean, it's a classic example of someone who's exploited a small platform to gain disproportionate amount of attention. And look at just the way he speaks.
Yes.
He is speaking in such a manner that is so disgusting that, you would say something like that about a disabled person, yet you say that you are the savior of
Right?
the women in that community, and they're okay with people saying things like that?
That's what I want to know because they called upon this person to come and essentially like go attack me because they felt that they weren't getting their way with having me fired over TikTok, that kind of thing. This is a very small group of people. We've talked about them many times, but they have enlisted the help of Connor here to make videos about me defending them. So that says a lot about all of their character, I feel like.
And I think that it's like they actually are coming for you now in a literal sense because these are women and they hired a real life stalker to
Yeah.
come after you. Is that appropriate?
Yeah. And he has a criminal record of behavior towards women. So, I
Oh,
mean,
I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just shows their true intention. Like I said, we can go back and forth all day on TikTok. If you feel a nurse's TikTok is so inappropriate that you want to hire somebody to cause them harm, I think you need to be having a conversation with that nurse directly because none of these people will talk to me face to face. That is the thing I find the most interesting. Not a single one. Because if I had a conversation with them, we could come to a solution. That's how I
Right.
operate. I'm a nurse. I problem solve all day, every day. I critically think all the time. I want to get to the bottom of stuff. These are people that are malicious and they get people like Connor over here to
Mhm.
try and perpetuate their ideas that this nurse is attacking people on this platform. So they would like to villainize me and make stuff up so that they can get their way with, the outcome they're looking for.
And as a mental health professional, I would say that this is a clear evidence that these women have a serious mental crisis
Well,
occurring.
this is where all that parasocial stuff comes in, because he is mentally ill, they are mentally ill. We're going to talk about
It's a
next.
feedback. It's a feedback
Feedback
loop.
loop. Exactly. The
Exactly.
feedback. So could you
Yeah.
imagine you're severely mentally ill, you all of a sudden have this platform of people that are going to feed into your mental illness, whether it's they're just joking because they think you're ridiculous, or they're serious, like this group of women that claims to be part of the chronic pain community, which most of them are not. They just
Mhm.
try to weasel their way into these groups so that they can get the benefits of them, like basically having bad behavior, and nobody does anything because they feel sorry for you because you have a disability, because they really use that as, well, I'm untouchable because I have ulcerative colitis, you can't
Right.
anything about me. It's like, no, your behavior and your disease process are totally different. If you
I think I
Go ahead.
think I saw somebody's video that said, "You know how you could get away with anything? Just say you're disabled."
And I think people are becoming a lot more comfortable
Mhm.
discussing that, because for a long time that was very much taboo. You couldn't say those things. But we're people that are medical professionals. We can kind of gauge when it's appropriate to say that and when it's not. The one woman on social media that we all know goes around telling people they don't have disabilities. You don't have that. She will call hospitals and try to
Mhm.
find you. There was a person that had to admit themselves under an alias because this woman was so aggressively searching for her. You have no business looking for anybody in any hospital. And then she was saying how, oh, you lied to me about your medical information. Honey, we don't know you. Nobody needs to tell you anything. I can lie to you if I want to. So then she tried to, bash that person on social media and make several videos saying they have brain injuries. They're not all there. It's like, and what if they did? You know what I'm saying? So you're part of this disabled community, but you're bashing every disabled person that exists that you don't like. How does that work? It's not a two-way street with them.
No, it's not, and most hospitals will not even give out any kind of
No. Oh God.
confirmation that
No.
you're there at all. Anyway,
No, they
you
won't.
know.
But the thing is with her, that one person, she's very manipulative, and I feel like she can say things to make people kind of give her what she wants. So it's very
Right.
dangerous because not everybody is on guard looking out for somebody like that. She might call and say she's the person listed on their face sheet because she might have that information, and then now she's got the information. So it's
It
it's
might
very
be on the HIPAA. That's
yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
it's very dangerous
Mhm.
because, like, say, for example, with the one woman I'm talking about where she was looking for her in the hospitals, she might know that person's sister is her, emergency contact or whatever. So she might say, hey, I'm her sister, so
Right.
and then continue with the conversation. So it's
Mhm.
become to real life, like people like Conan, he's
Mhm.
created this entire persona, this alpha male, which seems to compensate for his insecurities, his lack of real world success. He is unemployed but then claims to own 44 businesses and be a millionaire. So to me that's like a very obvious, like, trying to compensate for things I don't have.
And we also know that millionaires don't live in trailer homes.
And
So,
even if they did, maybe they just want
um,
to save all their money. They don't go around talking about, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. A millionaire will never tell
exactly.
you, they'll never tell you they're a millionaire.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we know
Yeah.
he's not. We can find people's net worth very easily. His is negative. Okay, so he doesn't have any.
Mhm.
He owns nothing. He claims to have a car collection, and if you want to do that for rage bait, cute, fine, whatever. But now you're trying to use that information and try to threaten people and say, "Well, I'm untouchable. I have all these resources. I'm going to do the following to you." Connor doesn't realize I'm a professional, established woman. Like, I'm not some kid on
Mhm.
TikTok. I have my shit together. I have my life together very well, even with the roadblocks these people have put in front of me to attempt to take my employment away. Like, I have navigated all of that beautifully. So it's interesting that they think they have so much power, and when they're told, sorry, no, you can't do that, they push
Mhm.
even further.
Well, that's the thing is most people are alone in this, and luckily the two of us found each other, and we can talk about these subjects in a professional manner.
That's probably
That you're talking about, I want you, Allison, go show him it. Be a good girl. Be a good girl
Meant to
for Alpha
show
Dom.
me.
Go show him this video because it's going to be fun. Do you realize, you African American, quite sweet? I
I have
love
no
African
what does
idea.
this have
Americans,
to do
quite
with it?
frankly.
I don't
Just
know what
kidding.
that
She's
means.
probably making up this name, or she's just using a name off of it. She's trolling in a parking lot, quite frankly, that absolutely.
For context, this was the video when I left the courthouse and I got my 3-year restraining order granted. I posted like a quick little TikTok, good to go, and then he claims the following.
Has nothing to do with law or legal. We photo recognized it. Boom. But Allison, I want to. Actually, you know what? We're not even going to give her the hint because she's simple as shit. I spy with my little eye her federal tail. Do you see it in the fucking background? Plate number, make and model of a car. Do you see it?
There wasn't even license plates showing in that video. I was
And
literally like,
why would the feds be following you? Like, what kind of federal investigation would be happening?
they claim because people are using fake profiles to harass them. Anyway.
Oh,
I can
please.
see it. I saw it immediately. She's dancing around while a federal tail is literally in fucking frame. I know I'm going to get a slap on the wrist for this because the FBI is going to be really pissed, even
His besties.
though my connection with the FBI.
I think it
I'm
was
sorry, here's my
Google.
wrist. Slap it.
So that's something we actually reported because this person claims time and time again that they work with the FBI, they have connections with the FBI, and then they use those connections to stalk not only women, but medical professionals that are out here serving the public. That's a huge problem. I mean, I know maybe he thinks it's cute and funny and you're going to make somebody stop doing what you want, whatever. I don't know what it is that he's looking for ultimately, because the things he's saying have never happened. I never attacked anybody. People came to my page, didn't like my TikTok, tried to call my real job, and I said, no, you're not going to do that. So if that's attacking somebody, I mean, okay. But like,
And you know that if I had a job, they would have done the same to me.
oh yeah,
So.
and there's a video of that one woman that calls the hospitals we were talking about. We'll call her C. I should bring it up after all this, but like basically she's saying, I will make sure you're jobless, homeless, so your family disinherits you over TikTok.
How much do you love your parents? She said.
Yep. So very much a very directed threat.
Look at those veins are fantastic. I have great circulation. That's how I'm so pale. But she's trying to be tough, and maybe on November, whatever fucking date she put in her profile.
So this video was made in December. He didn't even realize the date had already passed. So
she's going to have an account or whatever, some type of public record,
yes, a 3-year restraining order,
some type of civil action on it. But here's the thing: your cops aren't going to help you. Your court system isn't going to help you.
But they are.
Because
they've been helping me the whole time. The cops gave me a hug. I told you about that day. The cop said, "Do you need a hug?" And I said, "Yes, please," because he understood how crazy the situation was. So yeah, the cops are very much helping me. Nurses and cops always help each other.
I could literally step back completely and 100%, but you're being tailed by feds. And if you're being tailed by feds, I understand that me tailing you is perfectly fine. Hi, I'd like to have a restraining order against Alpha Dom because
that's supposed to be his Trump impression.
He has a PI team against me, and he's following me, and he's checking out
and he just like randomly goes into that voice when he's talking all the time.
So that means you're Trump?
I guess. I mean, he always does the impression when he's trying to, I guess.
It's a terrible impression, or I would have picked up on it.
He knows where I live and I work, or worked. Yeah, you think everybody's buying your stupid shit where you fucking drive around with your badge? Okay.
How does he think I get to work?
I'm buying it.
How does he think I get to work, first of all? Second of all, I think that he said that because he wanted me to like post in my job or something and try to fuck me over with that. So not going to happen. I post where I'm able to, where I'm allowed to, because I'm always going to be a content creator. I'm always going to post my life. But I realize that people will find out the parking garage that you're in. They will find out literally the bush that's in the background where it exists. They will do that. So, I mean, I guess that's what he considers his PI, him and his online friends, just Google image searching stuff. But
oh, okay, you silly little girl. Quite frankly, my favorite part was where you tried to tame me down and you were like, hey, listen, if I hurt people that you care about and I was rude, I will apologize to them. And I ignored you for 2 days because as a multimillionaire, I just don't give a fuck about your existence.
But make several videos about me.
And then I sent you a message today like, hey, listen, you don't have to.
So he never sent the message that he's saying now. Also, so he's basically saying that I offered to apologize to these people, but now I can't. Now I'm not allowed.
Right.
They don't exist.
It's his decision too.
They don't exist, and there's nothing to apologize for. I'm not going to apologize for defending myself.
Well, there's only one person that is connected to him, and we both know who it is.
Well, now it's more than one because they've all been introduced to his.
Well, the best, whatever RN, made a comment saying that I'm not allowed to call myself a social worker. Now, I can show you this right behind me. It's called a Master of Social Work degree. So, MSW.
It's
Of
very
course, I'm
interesting.
allowed to call
Of
myself
course you
that.
are. It's just very interesting because that person, her name is Jennifer, and she goes by the best Matt RN on TikTok, right? She's
Mhm.
not. She's not a Matt RN. She posted
No.
videos that she didn't pass. She couldn't pass the test or take the test because she didn't even have enough credits. This woman
Right.
doesn't work bedside. She came after me and said that I'm not an ER nurse. I just work in the ER because some random profile.
What does that even mean? You're
That's
not a
some,
case
no, that's
manager.
somebody that's trying to minimize a person
Yeah.
because they don't
You're
feel equal to them.
you're not a case manager, so
No, I
you
do
are an ER nurse.
yeah, of
That's
course.
it.
And I
That's
know
it.
that. And I know that.
Mhm.
So, but it's just interesting because even she tried to tell Mike about his career. She tried to tell me about my career. Meanwhile, she's
Mhm.
falsely representing herself as a person that is not even what she says. And she has a whole bunch of people on her platform that follow her thinking that she's educated in those topics. Meanwhile, me and Mike combined are way more educated regarding MAT, Suboxone, methadone, because we've been on those medications and we've been
Correct.
the process. And I mean,
Mhm.
I don't see the experience there. So it's just interesting to me. Like, you want to go and call yourself whatever, that's fine, but don't come for other people because they will clap back at you and say, you don't even have the certifications that you say you have. You know, people are
Mhm.
brought together in this world for a reason, and we are very much going to bring a positive out of this crazy negative situation.
That's absolutely what I want to do.
To figure out what people you wronged, you should figure it out. But instead of figuring it out, she decided to attack me again. And wow, that
Attack? Where did I ever
What
attack?
did you attack?
I
Yeah.
literally responded to him like, hey, you can't come for my job. Sorry, that's like a stalking issue.
hasn't
Yeah.
worked every single fucking time she's tried. So Allison, I've been warning you for super long. And quite frankly, none of my 7 girls are as fucking stupid and dumb that when I fucking shoot a warning shot across the bow, they're like, oh my god, wow, we're gonna stop this behavior. But I get it. You haven't dated a guy in fucking 6 years, 8 years. I think it was 8 years. I think
It's been like 10 years actually, and it's because I have a child that is my priority. Why are we putting so much value in a woman and her choice to date a man? Like, you're not good enough if you don't want
Because
to
he's
date somebody?
obsessed with
Yes,
dating. That's what it
exactly.
is.
To
He's
him,
obsessed
to
with
him,
it.
being single is like the worst thing ever. To me, I mean,
Uh,
I think that makes you a very strong, be able to stand on your own feet. You're confident. Like, I don't require a man for anything. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying? He,
Exactly.
he does need that validation, which he doesn't even get. So he has to go and just make these delusions to try to fill that void that he feels every day.
Mhm.
the file
I
said 8
agree.
years. How's your fucking
So the file, the FBI file said how long I was single for.
child? Anyways, here's the thing.
And then he just said, how's your fucking child? That's disgusting. My daughter's
Yeah.
14 years old. Stay the
Yeah.
hell away from my kid, you nasty groomer man.
Yeah.
About
For
you.
real.
The reality is you tried to dox me across a bunch of accounts 16 different times. You think a
What?
California officer is going to help you? I'm going
Yeah.
to do this because
They have, though. That's the thing. Nobody doxed him. I don't have any information about Connor on my account except the videos I made directly at him. If there's other
Right.
people that want to dox you on these platforms, I mean, maybe you did something to somebody that's causing them to do that. But he claimed that wasn't even his address. So how are we doxing you if that's not where you live?
Right. Exactly.
I like fun. I like fun quite personally. I like a lot of fun. I'm a big fun guy. I'm going to let him try to do everything he possibly can, and then the brass from the FBI are going to shove their fucking long schlong down yours and his throat, and I don't have to do anything. My team are just relaying information. I have, quite honestly, very little information here. I told them to.
I love how he had to say, oh, now I have very little information. Now I don't know anything. He's backtracking so hard because the first
Mhm.
videos he made, I know where you live. I know where you work. You will never work again. I know about
I
your
know where
kids.
your child
Yeah.
lives. I that's disgusting.
Now he doesn't
Yeah.
have any information. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just to help the FBI with you. Everybody,
The FBI does not need your help, Connor. That's just
No, they
you're
really
nobody.
don't.
You don't even have an education. You're not employed. There's nothing you could do to help the FBI in any circumstance.
No.
is watching and they're looking for advice on what not to do, never be Allison. Never be the person that fucking doxes
That's literally what I said about like don't be like him. So everything just like projection.
And copying.
Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, he insults people that are disabled when they don't like agree with him. I guess. Like, how does that
Yeah.
work?
Garbage organs. I
Yeah.
love that. I mean, who
Which,
says that?
somebody who's not a very good person. Also, he is defending criminals because they got their feelings hurt online, and you think
Yeah.
you're take a medical professional's job from them. I'm sorry, but the real patients need nurses. So unfortunately, the TikTok
Mhm.
personality conflicts are not going to be upheld by the board of nursing.
A question. There wouldn't possibly be, I don't know, like screenshots from you in group messages or one-on-one messages or a combination of the both saying things like, I can't dox from my account, but you can from your account. Just keep it anonymous.
The fact that he thinks I'm dumb enough to, if I were to do that, I would not be putting that in a text message. This just shows you how simple-minded. I think he's trying to like intimidate too, like, oh, you had that conversation about this with somebody. No, I didn't. Like,
No,
None
you
of
didn't.
those messages, or quite frankly, a couple of them, they wouldn't exist, would they? Because my God, if they existed, here's what's going to happen. Well, it would show in a court of law, which is quite fun. I love court. Court is a
There
great
it
time. I
is.
get to wear a suit. I get to wear a special, very expensive suit that's worth more than most people's cars, quite frankly. And quite
There it
frankly, I took a YouTuber out just for leaking my course, and he still owes me $500,000. Why do this? Why does this YouTuber not be able to afford paying me back? I don't know. But anyways, back to you, Allison. What it would show is you get into battles with people on TikTok. You have a little bit of fun. You have a little bit of, a little.
I think we're reversing the we're reversing everything, with what he's talking about.
that's fine. It's just
He's the one who wants to get in the battles,
well,
not
that's
you.
exactly what it is. Like I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, like my content is not argumentative. It's not.
No.
It's. I'm gonna defend myself. If somebody comes on my page and says something that's blatantly untrue about either medicine,
Mhm.
anything that I'm educated in, I'm gonna say something. That's not
Mhm.
attacking somebody. And I think we need to like with the I'm being bullied, I'm being attacked. Not everybody's being attacked and bullied. Some people just have feelings that can't absorb truth. They just automatically are
Right.
affected and hurt, and now they have to come back at that person and I don't know, try to do something malicious.
Bit of a
Or
good time.
destroy them.
And then when that doesn't work, you either dox people from a secondary account or you tell other people to dox from a second or from their account that's anonymous. And then when that doesn't work, an alpha dom shows up. They try the whole dox
Did he just say an alpha dom shows up?
Yeah.
God, bro.
thing. You get scared and you start filing ROs on people.
And that's the
Mhm.
other thing I want to focus on. ROs are not filed in my circumstance out of fear. Okay. I have a job that I need to uphold because I'm a single parent. And when people like you and April Green, the LPN that had her license taken away for diversion, when those type of people are calling my job and blatantly just making things up because they want me fired, yes, you will have a restraining order put against you. That's why it was put against that person, because she was posting strange, bizarre videos showing my employment, telling everybody on TikTok to call. And in the comments, you'll see people saying, who are we calling about today? I love a good complaint call. And that will have its whole own episode. There's still a lot of court stuff ongoing. And I really
Mhm.
care to bring Connor into it because he's irrelevant. He's just like another piece. And I think they're adding him to try to like distract and add more nonsense.
Oh,
Um,
they're trying to scare you.
and
That's
I
what
think
they're trying
they
to
don't
do.
know me though, so they don't understand that I don't fear internet people. They're trying to make it real life. Like, you're not gonna touch my job. No, you're gonna be in trouble for that. So that's what happened. They learned a lesson. But then they still try to go and harass people by using people like Connor here to make videos. And it's just really
Mhm.
strange because it's like a judge told you you're wrong. I think you need to absorb that and stop calling people's jobs.
Or do we believe that they are allegedly escorts?
If he even, because he's on like unemployment, how is he affording escorts? Like, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, I don't know if it's even true. He probably gets one like every 2 months or something. But either
Mhm.
way, really trying to utilize this like he's being used and he doesn't even realize it. And maybe they paid him
Mhm.
some money to make the videos, who knows? Because there is people
I'm sure
involved,
he got some money.
that have the ability to do that. They have a lot of money to spend. And then you have the other people that are completely broke, begging for money. So they're mad that I called them out on being criminals. And they're not honest chronic pain people that were attacked by a nurse. That is not what happened. My TikTok
Mhm.
wasn't even about them or directed at them. One of them didn't like a comment I made, so then they tried to flip that around and say, look what this nurse is doing, oh my god, go get her. And
Hmm.
people feed into that. That's the parasocial stuff that I always talk about, is something's wrong, we all need to be vigilantes, just like the nurse Hannah thing. Everybody and their mother wanted to call CPS, the board of nursing. They wanted to fight her. CPS is not taking that child out of that home. That person is a rage baiter, just like Connor. They post little bits showing that, pretending they don't feed their kid or that they neglect their kid, because they know that that woman made $400,000 last week because of the nonsense that people have been feeding into that whole thing.
Hmm.
$400,000 in 1 week she made, because
Wow.
the board of nursing doesn't care. Okay, the board of
Mm.
nursing, she's an LPN. First of all, she'll probably ditch the LPN license to make social media money, because she's not making that kind of money as an LPN. So it just,
Unless they ban it.
yeah, well, exactly. But she has social media across all platforms, YouTube, everything.
Mhm.
So she's
Okay.
very successful with that. But that just goes to
Mhm.
show how people like Connor, with the whole rage bait mentality, they want to take a negative situation and have people, they use people's emotions to make it take off and make it.
Well, that's like what I was saying. It's like a feedback loop. The
Yeah,
more people engage with its content, the more he feels validated. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
And you know, this is the classic sign of compensation for one's insecurities.
Yeah,
And it's a dangerous cycle that can lead to real world consequences. And I do mean real world consequences, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, and in a variety of ways,
So,
not only legal, but your mental health. Like, we absolutely have to be mindful of the impact that social media and creators like this can have on your mental health and well-being, whether it's like the way you're reacting to the situation, the way you're actually carrying out things in real life in regards to the situation. You don't know anything about these people, and you're calling their job, you're calling CPS on them, you're calling the nursing board. Like, that is
mhm,
abnormal behavior. And also, like, you want to make a report, go ahead, fine, but then to make a whole social media post about it, you're looking for clout, is what you're doing. You're
right.
looking for attention. And I don't
Hmm.
think people realize how that only, not only affects their mental health, but the people that are getting involved by being the viewer.
Hmm. Well, the thing is, the Canadians are feeling they're very safe and they're just sitting there chilling right now.
Well,
And I worry that they will continue this kind of
Well,
behavior.
and for anybody that's watching that
Mm.
doesn't know, this initially started with a couple of creators that live in another country. They live in Canada. So what they would do is they would post the nurse's information or the person's information that they wanted to have everybody call, right? Because they're in another country, it's a lot harder to come after them, right? So they're all being dealt with in this situation, in a
Mhm.
collateral way. Like, they're going to have to deal with the consequences of their friends' actions, essentially, because the woman that I have a restraining order against, she wanted to defend this Canadian woman, right? So she came in my comment section, came to my page, started harassing me. To then it escalated when I said, "Woman, listen, it ain't gonna work with me. I'm not the one." Okay? She got angry. She got mad because she thought I was just
Mhm.
gonna go away and cower and be done with harassing her friends. Meanwhile,
Right.
little backstory, this is the nurse that stole medication from the elderly, lost her compact license because of it, was deemed an immediate threat to the public, then harassed me on social media and got a 3-year restraining order, and also has a restraining order from a woman in Oregon. So these are the people you're interacting with on social media. Okay, so she got
Yeah.
her all involved for this lady in Canada because she was defending her, and then she got herself slapped with 2 restraining orders.
Well, since we're at this point, Allison, perhaps it's a good time to show her video and what she did upon being served with that Oregon restraining order
Oh yeah,
almost
yeah.
immediately.
Hold on, let me
You know
get it.
what I mean?
Well, that's
Because
the thing
maybe
too,
this would
is
be a good time.
you can see this person has just a complete disregard for the law. Because, funny story actually, so let's talk about the restraining orders. So she
Hmm.
got served the first one, immediately was posting things with my name, my license number, like the exact thing she was told not to do. So
Hmm.
that all, a case was written up regarding that. They approached her regarding it. She said she had no idea what she was doing wrong, right? So that will go again. That went against her in the court of law because they immediately granted the 3-year, because clearly the judge called her inflammatory. He said, this woman has no self-control. Who are you? She showed up in pajamas saying, I'm a patient advocate, so I had to call this nurse's job because she's dangerous. ma'am, you stole pain medication from the elderly and you're here in pajamas. Like a
Hmm.
patient advocate with an organization or something is going to show up professional and they're going to say, I'm with this organization. This is what we do. There was none of that. It was just like, I'm responsible for reporting nursing ethics. It's like, that's not how that works.
Is
That
that what she said?
Yes, yes, that's what
Oh
she in the
my
court of
God.
law. She said, "I'm a patient advocate, or I work with patient advocate groups," and it's she did something unethical. Basically, she posted something unethical, and she didn't like the consequences of her actions. She tried to act like I was doing all this because I was mad that they called me out. No, I'm annoyed that you're gonna call my job and tell me you know where I live, you know where I work. Like you are taking this real life, and that's not allowed. I'm sorry.
And also making false reports that don't have anything to do with your
Well, that's
patient
exactly it.
care,
So because they were
you
so
know?
irate and they have no self-control, they then called my job saying things like, I agree with grape because of a situation that happened in my family 10 years ago that had nothing to do with me. They said that I steal narcotics. I have a history in addiction. So of course they're going to say that. I've been clean for many years, going on almost 8 years now. And it's
Hmm.
like, I just don't understand how they would. Well, I understand. Basically, they were trying to use anything that could reflect negatively on my character and say, well, it's possible she could be stealing meds and she could be a grape apologist or whatever the heck they're saying. But essentially, they were saying that I was a dangerous nurse and not safe to take care of patients. Meanwhile, this woman literally stole pain medication from the elderly and got her nursing license removed, and then she's reporting me to my job saying I'm a dangerous nurse. I'm a phenomenal nurse. I've never had any type of disciplinary action against me. I've been, an asset to every place I've ever worked. And they've always told me that. And it just seems like it's the people like we were talking about with Alpha Dom, or oh my God, the people like Connor, basically they are trying to compensate for something that they don't have anymore. She doesn't have
Right.
a nursing license, so she's got to take mine away. Over and over, she would say how all I do is gloat. Clearly, my life was bothering her. Me being successful was causing a visceral reaction within her. But I want to talk about
Mhm.
regarding the second restraining order when she was served. So we got a letter about how that process happened, right? So basically, she refused to come to the door. They went there several days. She wouldn't answer the door. She thought she was just going to evade the restraining order. That's not how that works. So they eventually had to go around her home, look in the windows. Okay, so they looked in the window. They seen her. She pretended that she didn't know what was going on. She wouldn't respond to them. So they made
Mhm.
eye contact with her and they left the restraining order on her windowsill in front of her, and now she's obligated to answer to it. But she tried to just stay inside in the window, behind the window with the police looking at her.
She was peeking out of the
Yeah. Well,
window.
they saw
Yeah.
her. They saw her. They
Hmm.
actually wrote a document that said they saw her avoiding them, and that basically once that you
Hmm.
make eye contact with that person, you're served. That's it. Yeah. But that just
And
shows
we'll,
her behavior. I mean,
yeah, and we definitely have to show what she said.
yeah, I'm gonna bring it up in frame. The second restraining order comes from a woman in Oregon, and basically same type of behavior. She was acting very strange and bizarre, and just like can't stop talking about people's like personal stuff and like accessing it, and just very strange behavior. So obviously that restraining order was granted. Why would this person have two restraining orders granted if there was nothing wrong with their behavior, right? She got
This
mad
mother
again.
from Oregon is a wonderful person,
She's
by
a
the way.
foster mother. She has
Yeah.
adopted two children when her children are grown. These are adopted children she's talking about here. So basically, she used a derogatory slur towards this woman's child because she, I guess, was mad that she got put in her place once again. And you're going to be told, no, you cannot put this person's name in your mouth. No, you can't.
And you
Call this
definitely
person
can't use words like that, like just because you're mad. I mean, it's
it just shows
terrible
it shows the lack of
behavior.
self-control. Yeah.
Yeah, you have no self-control. You have no ability to just keep your mouth shut, and you're addicted to your phone, you
Yeah.
know? There's actually proof that she might be even working in Florida now with no
Well,
compact.
we're working on that because Florida is a very yucky state when it comes to medical stuff. They had fake nurses working down there. I don't know if you heard about the whole fake licensure thing that was going on kind of after COVID. Basically, there were
Mm.
thousands of people that paid for nursing licenses that were not nurses. So they were able to get
Oh,
jobs.
yes, I do remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, they
Mhm.
unfortunately are not the best when it comes to vetting their employees. They will kind of just have people work under the table. Like, maybe she's getting paid cash at a nursing facility, stuff like that. So, She was deemed an immediate threat to the public. There is no circumstance in which somebody like that should ever be in contact with patients again, especially vulnerable ones that cannot speak for themselves. But it just shows just her attitude towards this young baby. I mean, what is she doing when the doors are closed? What if that elderly
We're
person
talking about an infant almost, a
yeah. So
toddler.
could you
I mean,
imagine
come
if
on.
she's taking care of her patients, like what she's saying to them?
Yeah. Or about them behind their back.
Yeah. Or I just feel like she gets mad very quickly.
Yes. And she sees a patient coming in with, say, pain medication. She's like, ooh, yay, you know?
Well, she feels it. She takes it.
All of the AI transcripts, all of the connections from this person to that person.
And that's the other thing.
Didn't have any of that.
She thinks she's going to take a video that has people tagged in it to court and say something. I don't know what. That's not, they don't care about that. Like, I went through the court system and I had to present a ton of evidence in order to get my initial restraining order against this person because I don't know her. She's a stranger. It's online. Like, it's so random. And it's just
And nothing on the AI profiles is not true information.
But the thing about that too is like I don't know why they assume that it's us, the AI profiles, because there's a lot of people that do not like this woman. She stole from people's family members. She has a track record of causing harm in people's lives. Of course, they're going to create outlets where they can bring awareness to the situation. I mean, there's nothing
Of
that's
course.
stated on any of those pages that has been false, like you said. It's all just talking about the actual circumstance, showing the evidence, because there's legal documents that show why.
Unless she's transcribing the podcast, she thinks that that's part of the proof or something.
That's not evidence either, because we're talking about a real life situation that she did. I mean, if you stole pain medicine from elderly people, people are going to talk about that, and they're going to talk about you. And if you just be mad about it and think you're going to get a restraining order because of it, no, that's not how that works.
And people don't understand that there are other people in the world that don't like what they're saying.
They can't absorb.
You know what I mean?
They can't absorb.
They can't absorb that.
If you don't agree with them, you need to be fired from your job. You need to be homeless. You need to be disowned by your family. That's the only option. There's no conversation. This woman could not have a conversation with me. If I tried to have conversations with these people, they wouldn't.
No.
Wouldn't.
For the record, and you know who this is for.
But just before I start this, to preface, she's directly addressing somebody that has an active restraining order against her. This is not myself. This is the other person with the disabled child. And we're going to see how she speaks to her about this.
And trigger warning with language, please.
Trigger warning with all. She is very derogatory towards a disabled child, and this is a person that was supposed to be taking care of patients at a point in her life, and she's just a very dangerous, volatile person, and we will continue to bring awareness.
And I want you all to think about whether or not you would want this person taking care of your loved ones or not.
Yeah, please drop that in the comments because I'm curious.
Yeah, we'd like to know.
For the record, and you know who this is for. Over my motherfucking dead body will I ever leave the state of Florida to go anywhere to answer to any of you dirty, raggedy bitches. But what is happening is this is all getting transcribed because since I don't fuck with the police, I didn't realize that you need actual evidence. And bitches,
You didn't realize you need actual evidence? Let me play that back.
All getting transcribed because since I don't fuck with the police, I didn't realize that you need actual evidence. And bitches, I have tons.
Really?
So we can prepare for both of those orders to be lifted and orders put on both of y'all.
That's not how that works.
And if you think you're going to see me come to your state, think again, bitch. I'll go to jail first.
Listen,
I'm never going to do it. Fuck you. And your mama. And your little Riri baby.
Just to say that again?
Yeah.
And your mama. And your little Riri baby. For the record.
That's somebody that's supposed to be a medical professional? No. There's a reason that she was deemed an immediate threat to the public. That behavior is just atrocious.
Atrocious, and not only atrocious, egregious, and absolutely disgusting and irreprehensible.
Yeah. So somebody like that should never be in a medical setting. So I'm curious to know how she got any type of job in a medical facility because she doesn't have a license in the state of Florida. And like I said, with her history of treatment towards patients, obviously that's not a safe situation. So that's all being looked into. That's all being dealt with, outside of this. But clearly I think the people actually looking out for the patients are not her. It's us. And we didn't even come in here with that intention initially, but it seems that there's a lot of people that need saving and a lot of people that need protection against these type of online people.
Yeah, it's important to remember exactly that these online personalities are real people with real flaws.
Yeah.
And, they're not infallible. And they're not always who they seem to be is the most important thing to think
Most of
about.
most of the time.
We need to be very critical consumers of online content and be wary of those who seek to manipulate and exploit other people.
Yeah.
Because parasocial relationships is exactly what is occurring here.
Exactly.
And, they see a man with a large platform, they see a woman who says she's a patient advocate. They, try to use those people to advocate for them. But
Hmm.
however, Alpha Dom, for instance, has a serious mental issue.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, this woman, April, has a serious mental issue. And, Allie, as I said before, I doubt he has any PIs on you. There's no
No,
reason to be afraid of it.
yeah, I know that.
Um, and no one just takes a job to stalk someone,
Yeah.
and I just
And
wanted
because
to
you
point
don't
that
want them
out
to
again.
work, like just because you don't want them to work as a nurse, that's not how that works, unfortunately.
No,
There are
it's
people
not
working
how it
as nurses
works.
like April that should not be touching a patient, and you think I'm gonna have no, no, it just doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
So that being said, that's kind of we'll have more episodes on these people too because there is so much information, so much that has transpired and taken place, and things that really need to be talked about. So I'm glad we started these conversations. There's not a lot of people talking about how these creators are so dangerous and they take stuff real life. And like for example, the woman I just showed you was encouraging people to call my job and putting up posts like behind her. Here's the information. Like that's not okay. That's never going to be okay. I don't
No,
care if you don't like me, if you don't like my post, there's other ways to deal with that. You don't call my job. Okay. That's how I
we're
provide.
adults.
Yeah. And that's how I provide
We're
for my,
adults.
I provide for my child with my employment. So unfortunately, that's something that I'm going to put measures in place to protect. So
And nobody thinks about that. Nobody thinks
no,
about your daughter and how she might be denied a Christmas
yeah.
if you
But
were to lose your job,
I think they don't think like that because they don't have anything. They don't have jobs. They don't have things that are valuable to them. They don't have nice Christmases with their kids, like things like
All
that.
they have is pain medications
Well,
that are important.
and that's kind of the
Yeah.
nitty gritty of this because that woman was
Mhm.
stealing pain medication to allegedly
Mhm.
give to people on TikTok. So that's all being looked into as well. That I can't say much on that because it's all alleged as of this moment, but people are
Mhm.
confirming that that is the case. So this goes way deeper than just a poor attitude encouraging people to do bad things. This is
Mhm.
a crime ring, essentially. TikTok is a crime hub, and I don't think people understand the amount of crime and illegal activity that takes place on this platform.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll be back next week
Yep.
with another episode of the Nurse Patient Forum. Until then, please stay safe and
Yes.
stay informed
Yes.
and stay kind. And if you can do us a big favor and you like the subject, subscribe and hit that little like button right down at the bottom,
Yes.
okay?
All your engagement is much appreciated. It's going to help get this people, get this content to the people that really want to see it. Make sure you drop in the comments anything that you would like us to discuss, any creators that you've come across that you notice these dangerous behaviors with, because there's content for years with this type of stuff. So we'll be here for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Be right by your side, Allie.
We're going to be here doing this. We're going to be the dynamic duo taking down all the parasocial freaks. So that being said, you guys have a safe and good evening. I'm going to go donate some plasma, get myself some Chipotle for dinner. And then, yeah, me and Mike will be working on the next episode. It's going to just be a continuance of what we discussed today. I would like to eventually maybe do like a longer episode so we can get more information in, but we'll plan all that in the future. Again, if you guys have any ideas, comments, suggestions, please leave them below. And then we will see you guys next time.
Great. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye
Bye.
now.